The day started like usual doing hood rat stuff with my buddy. Let's call him Dan. I and Dan found out about an annual festivity in our city on how everyone dresses up like Santa Claus and slutty elves with a discounted wristband for beers in selected bars within the area for a measly $1.25. $1 beers, why not? Dan picked me up from my house around 2 p.m. doing dope runs around my neighbourhood like what we always do, but wanted to wrap it up early so we can hit the town and buy our wristbands. We killed a fifth of Henny and a 24-pack of IPAs between the both of us. Meanwhile, I busted out a gram of some top-notch cocaine from my homie. As retarded as we were, we continued driving around finishing up our runs. We jumped on the I-95S getting off Wells Ave. Off-ramp, this lady in her newer Toyota Break checked us for no reason, I swear to God. Thankfully, she didn't realise we were insanely coordinated and manoeuvred out of the way to the right-hand side. Let me remind you, my buddy's car is this really old Nissan 4x4 pickup truck with shitty paint and bullet holes on the rear end that looks absolutely terrible. After our manoeuvre, I got super pissed off and threw my beer that I was drinking from the passenger side window over the roof of the car, which I was thinking I was going to miss. But surprisingly, it shattered on this lady's windshield perfectly. Then Dan goes, "Damn, you hella hitter." After a shout of victory, she starts chasing us in her car, which was obviously way faster than ours. She failed to realise that we're from Reno. Born and raised there, so we know every cut and street in the city. But she wasn't letting up, which was getting us kind of nervous, so we decided to go in the wrong one-way street to lose her by my mum's house, which happened to be in my neighbourhood. Eventually, we lost her after we got to my mum's house since she got scared because we were being dickheads on the road. We stashed Dan's car in my mum's backyard, which has this gated fence that was easy to pull in really quick without being seen. My mum was home at the time, but she didn't really care because she knows how we are the majority of the time. So she decided to give us more beer and made some fire carne asada tacos. Downtown Reno is only a 20-minute walk from my mum's house, so we headed out around 6 p.m. Before us leaving, I brought a loaded Glock 17 with an extended magazine and 2 ounces of Golden Teachers to possibly sell while we were out there. I know I'm fucking dumb. So we left downtown and bought our wristbands for the beer. After we hit a couple of bars and clubs, I decided to eat a pre-weighed 7-gram dose of Shrooms while I was at our last bar, but it was so cracking in there that I couldn't find Dan anywhere. I started to lose perception of reality quickly after about 45 minutes. I couldn't even read or talk, so getting an Uber was out of the question. I decided to walk back to my mum's house for my safety. This was about 1 a.m. I didn't even make it past the Harrah's Casino, which is 2 blocks from the bar I was at. I jaywalked at a red light at a busy intersection. This is how badly I was tripping. Halfway into the intersection, the car that was going to hit me out of all people was a cop. After the officer screeched his brakes and yelled at me from his intercom to stay where I was, I decided to flip him off and keep walking. The officer ran up to me and forced me onto the ground quickly with handcuffs. Not knowing I was armed, after he handcuffed me, 6 patrol cars came and made a scene until eventually they patted me down to discover my gun, drugs, and another pint of Henny that I bought earlier. The sergeant who was there kept talking about how I could have killed his officers or whatnot. He wasn't too happy about that. I blacked out and woke up in Washoe County Jail the next day. I was released shortly after. A couple $1,000 for an attorney got me a reduced charge for reckless endangerment with a weapon. It still wasn't worth it at all.